Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Good Morning Education Show. My name is Rotimi Itaya, and I would like to welcome you to another wonderful day. There's a lovely Tuesday morning on the 22nd of June, 2022, and it's just going to be a great day. We always say that on the show. And remember, we're streaming from Lagos, Nigeria, to West Africa, to Africa, and of course, the entire world. Such a pleasure to be here. I was so excited to host every one of you. Thank you all for joining. Please do not hesitate to tell us your location. As you say hello to us, say good morning, tell us your name, your location, and where you're streaming from. And of course, as we go on the show, please, we would like you to share your thoughts on the conversation of the day. Feel free to make contributions, and of course, do not hesitate to ask your questions. We will make sure we entertain your comments and questions. And our analysts on the show are ready and vibing to answering your questions. And without wasting much time, I will welcome one of our analysts on the show. That's Dr. Fee Folufalodun. Good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, Professor Rotimi Itaya. Good morning to our tribe. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Africa. And indeed, good morning to the entire world. You're welcome to another edition of the Good Morning Education Show this morning.
Thank you very much. And I have to interrupt the introductions to give a shout out and the bell of blessing to the boardroom boss, Esther Namdiogwe, all the way from Abuja. She's saying good morning to the Good Morning Education crew. Thank you, Ma, for joining. And we hope you have a great time on the show. And now we welcome Dr. Omotola the Great, all the way from the United States of America. Welcome to the show, Dr. Omotola.
Good morning, Dr. Fane. Good morning, Prof. Good to be here again.
You had to stress the doctor, Dr.
Yes.
Fane. And it seems like the Good Morning Education Show is now going to be a show of doctors. It's almost like Good Morning Doctors. I am pleased to welcome a special individual and a guest who has now become a tribe member of our analyst on the show today. And this will be our first time joining. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. With a bell of Dr. Abimbola Ogundere. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Itayo. Good morning, every other person. It's great to be here. I'm so excited. I've hounded Rotimi Itayo. I've pleaded, I've begged. Finally, I get access. So I'm so excited to be here. Hello, everyone.
Good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning.
Be here. And
welcome to the show.
As it is our usual practice on the show, we spent some time on headline news, and we'll take up some of this headline news and get to hear your contributions as analysts so that the viewers can also share or understand what we're talking about. So our first headline is 15-year-old Nigerian students wins big, defeats UK, US, Chinese pupils at global math competition. So let's give Dr. Bimbo an opportunity to share our thoughts on that headline.
I mean, to be honest, I don't think it's surprising. I've always believed that the problem we have, or the challenges we have in Nigeria, is just they are more social, they are more economic than particularly academic. A typical, I'll be honest with you, I think the reason why many of our children are not doing well here, is multifactorial. If you put a Nigerian child who has been well schooled, right, well educated, and you put that child anywhere in the world, the child is going to come tops. That is my belief. Right? So this, to me, is exciting, but it is not is not surprising. That's the word. Is not surprising. Nigeria, we just need to get our acts together, right? So that we give the children what it is that they need. UK, US, Chinese, China, really, it's just the fact that their social construct is there, right? Yes, I'll be honest with you. A Nigerian child, put a Nigerian child, yeah, you find that they can do so much. They can do so much.
Thank you for that. Dr. Motola, do you want to say something on that as well?
Yes, like Dr. Sorry, oh, I can't remember. Just said like it's
Bimbo.
very something. Sorry, Dr. Bimbo just said like yes, it's commendable and yes, it's impressive, and at the same time, like I'm happy for her. I'm happy for her family. And I like the fact that she put in the work for it because the news said that she read like extra from like 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. So it's definitely deserving that she put in she sowed the seed and now she's reaping the harvest. So I'm excited for her and I hope that our future will not be stampeded by our crazy start and stop education system.
Thank you very much. And while we're at it, we have Gideon Essien from Port Harcourt. Thank you, Gideon Essien, for joining and saying good morning. Thank you very much. So let's move over to the next headline, which is on the 2021 UTME. JAM gives new instructions to candidates of delisted centers. I'm sure you remember that we mentioned this sometime, I think it was last week or early in the week. I think JAM is having a rethink. Well, what do you have to say, Fee? Over to you.
Okay, that was yesterday. Our discussion about this delisting. The delisting was on the news yesterday, and it's getting very, very tiring hearing from JAM. But it's this morning is very heartwarming to know that they're making options available to those who are affected by the delisted centers, because it's not a fault of the candidates in any way that the centers did not meet up to the requirements that JAM has of the centers. So it's very commendable and it's heartwarming that those students are not going to have to forfeit their space in taking the JAM exam this year. And so I just wanted to chip in something about the 15-year-old girl. What really excites me about that news item is the prize that she won. Usually when we have educational competitions in the country, the prizes they're woeful, but she won herself $1,000, which to any child who has put in so much effort into that kind of competition and coming tops, going through the first and second stages, that really is endearing. Not just giving them 10,000 naira and a handshake from somebody. That really is an endearing one.
Thank you very much for that. And we move into another interesting one, and insurgency, banditry, kidnapping, damaging education in the north. This is something that we have come to see. It's like it's almost every week something happens. Let's hear from Dr. Bimbo. Dr. Bimbo, what's your take on this insurgency in Nigeria?
For me, it's it's just an unfortunate state of affairs. I'll be honest with you. I think that a country that is supposed to be the giant of Africa, that sends armed forces to other countries to keep peace, we have all the resources that that we need. We are now at this point where everybody's just unsafe. Everything is just gone, chaotic. And it's unfortunate it's unfortunate because you see the North is already behind. The North is behind academically. They are still trying to catch up, and then it seems as if this is obviously going to make them lag behind more and further. And my problem is, I know that there won't be an intentional effort to close the gaps. Hopefully, after all this is over, we're all hopeful that this whole problem is going to end, right? So I don't think that if there's going to be that intentionality in saying, okay, this is where these people are compared to the rest of the country, and how do we close the gaps? How do we, bombard them with the resources and the ability to close those gaps? Because a couple of weeks ago, I was looking at the cutoff marks, right, state by state. I know that there's a state in the north that I think was 7 or 9, right? The cutoff mark, I think, for JAMB or something was 9, and I'm wondering what that means. Those children don't need to go to school to go into the university. So it is just unfortunate. No, yes, you can lie down at home, and then one day just say, oh, okay, it's time to go and write this exam, and then go, because what effort do you require to get 7 or 9? So it is, they are one-ton countries. We know about Rwanda. They are war-torn countries. There are countries that have gone through a lot of issues. But my problem is, when this is over, how intentional are we going to be with helping these people close the gaps? Right? When in the past, when there was peace, they were behind, and then nothing is happening. We also obviously know that there are some cultural issues surrounding that. The northern, not really excited about, Western education and all that. How do we, again, how do we close these gaps? That's what it is. That's what it is, from me.
Okay, thank you for that. I'll just step in briefly for Mr. Itayo. Okay, Omotola, is there something you want to say about this?
Yes, because I think recently, was it last week or this, we're applauding, I think, the UN or UNICEF for like the commitment and the investment they were going to make into the northern part. And so what this brought up for me was that, like there was a period in Nigeria where like church were being attacked, and like I remember like for like almost 2 years, my own church specifically, we had to have like security before we can go into church. We had to change the kind of bags and then things we can bring into church, because you have to be checked to make sure you don't have like any anything that will harm anyone in the church before you can enter. So I think it's high time, knowing the part of the world like that specific northern part in Nigeria, that we consider security as part of the critical things that is part of the education system, that it should become the norm, so that we don't have to have all of this conversation again over kidnapping and everything. I think it's high time that investment should be made into the security of the teachers and the students and even the families, if possible, for this. And it should now become the norm, not the exception. Another thing I'll say is that maybe it's also high time to rethink education, especially for that sector. Must it be face-to-face? If they cannot gather, thank God for technology and things like that. Can we rethink education? Can we rethink the way they are done? I know that, yes, it's not possible to have like tablet and electricity 24/7 right now, so that all students can have access to like alternative education online. But can we start exploring that maybe they can still be safe and still have access to education within their own? Can we build apps? Can we innovate and think of, okay, how can we still meet the need of this student and these children to learn within their household, if it's going to be such a ordeal for them to leave their house to go to school and it's not safe? How can we protect them if we are still not ready to like provide the right security? Can we provide and think outside of the box, or as if there's no box, and create opportunity that are low cost for them to learn within either like preloaded apps, or that doesn't even require the internet, or preloaded phones that they can access the education they need and connect with the teachers they need online to be able to do the to be able to learn. And also there should not be double standard, like Dr. Mbola was saying that about this idea of like, oh, like they only need 7 or 9 to pass JAMB. I think that's just ridiculous and totally not right. So those would be my thoughts.
Thank you very much. So let's just have one more and then we'll get to the deep matters of the day. Buhari approves 18 billion naira for takeoff of 4 specialized varsities. 18 billion naira. Fee, do you want to say something on that?
Okay, so just like we saw yesterday, the approval for the new polytechnic, this, I still have the same concerns. Here we are just coming on the heels of insecurity being a bane to education in the north. And it's not just in the north, it's all over the country. We have this banditry and all of these things happening all over the country. And the universities we have so far are not secure yet. They are not well fully funded. They are not well equipped and all of that. And here we are talking about 4 new ones. How are we just going to add them to the list of those already existing just to say, oh, we have more? The truth is we need more of these institutions to cater for the increase in the number of students that we're turning out from the secondary schools, and to even cater for, even right now, if we don't have an increase in the number of students that are coming out, we don't have enough institutions to cater to the number of people that write JAMB and pass and get to the cutoff mark, but for some reasons they can't get in. But the concern here is taking for this new universities, health colleges, when they do take off, are they going to go down the fate of the others that have existed or that are existing before them? What is in place to ensure that these universities are not just, they don't just start up, but that they are kept running, and that the others that pre-existed them are also well funded, are running, and but most importantly for me is for us to ensure, or for the government to be up to its responsibilities. As we're talking about the accountant general, I think holding back their pay and all of that. You're going to be having new people added to the workforce. Are they also going to join strikes, repeated strikes? These are things that need to be considered before they start flagging off or taking off new universities, really.
All right, Dr. Bimbo, your take on this?
So, I mean, I agree with what Finn has said. The problem I have in Nigeria is there's a paucity of accountability, right? So is it the number of varsities or the quality of varsities? The quality of varsities and the quality of the product of the varsities. So why are we talking about numbers? So I mean, we know now that a student that goes to University of Lagos really is a child at par with a student that goes to university in even any of the other countries of West Africa. So for me, it is, why are we not looking at the quality? Why are we not investing? So you still go to computer science department, University of Lagos, and they don't have computers. So why are we, investing money in more rather than focusing on what we already have and ensuring that those ones are up to standard, and not just Nigerian standard, but the world standard, right? And we also know that this is an excuse. I mean, I hope I'm allowed. This is my first time here. I don't know what I'm allowed to say. This is an excuse for some people to just siphon money, right? Siphon money and go off with maybe 3/4 of this amount, and then at the end of the day, we see 2 or 4 funny looking, ill-equipped varsities. Just an excuse to take money and take it away. It's still back to the problem that we have of leadership, of accountability, of people just doing what they need to do and being committed to the country. So I see things like this and I'm not excited. So, University of Ife, University of Ibadan, University of Lagos, University of Usu, what has become of those universities that about, 40, 50 years ago, or what, they were the top universities that people used to come from outside Nigeria to come and school there? Why can't that be the agenda of this government, to say, okay, this is the agenda. We're going back to the way these universities were, and we're going to use money. And anything that people are going to use money for in Nigeria, half of it doesn't get done. So I'm not excited. It's just some news. It doesn't excite me in any way. I'm sorry to say.
Dr. Motala, your comment?
Yeah, so upon reading it further, apparently they said that they were only going to create 2 new um institute, and then they're going to revamp and invest in 4 existing ones. And so, but yet I agree with both what Finny and Bimbo have already said, that there's so many unanswered questions. There's so many like unplanned preparation that they are not taken into consideration, because you are right. Already the education budget is so limited and stretched on so many issues. And we have universities and institutes that they have not, that they're still in like in the 19th century, that they've not even come up at all, and yet they're not really paying attention to that. And another thing they said was that, oh, that they were going to try to make the new ones up to standard, that they were taking cues from like institute from Singapore and Malaysia. I'm impressed at the same time, and I'm not impressed with them, because I'm like, I don't believe that they're going to deliver on it, because right now the quality is so with the ones that we currently have. So what is to, and like what Bimbo said, that they might siphon the money into something else. That yes, they are announcing 18 billion, but honestly, how much of that money will really go into the development, into the upgrading of those equipment, and really like providing all the needed asset that they need? And so I really want to be hopeful, but at the same time, I'm skeptical that it will result into anything good.
Thank you so much. And on that note, I think we'll just head over to the grant for the day, and then we'll hit our conversation. So, Dr. Motol, I'd like you to take the grant for the day. Just share with us the grants that we have for the day.
Sure. So today's grant is from the Science for Nature and People Partnership, SNAP funding, and the deadline is July 27, 2021. And you can earn up to $200,000. And the field of work that you can apply this grant for includes environmental conservation, sanitation, clean drinking water, management, climate change, resilience, and also economic and service and development. And the people who can apply it can be either for government entities, so like for public universities, secondary schools can apply, non-profit organizations, NGO, individuals, and then indigenous groups. And then you can use the funding for research, and your project can be anywhere in the world. So it's not just Nigeria alone. If you're in any other country, you can definitely apply for these. And the reason why we encourage you to apply is that also that you can use the funding to definitely, like we were just recently talking about this issue of like new universities and things like that. I think, like we said, the government is so stretched with funding and money. It's high time that schools, universities, polytechnics start thinking outside of the box, instead of just waiting for the federal government or state government to fund everything. This grant can be assessed and used in funding some of the overhead costs, or for like equipment and things, or even to look into research opportunity to enhance our education system. So we highly encourage you to put in your own submission and proposal, and wish you good luck on it as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So there you have it, the grant of the day. Take advantage of that, and then let's see how we push our projects initiatives forward. So to the conversation of the day, we have a topic called check again. And I believe it's going to be an interesting conversation today, especially because this is something that addresses the core essence of why we work, especially as educators, professionals out there, teachers to be particular. We work in such a way where everything looks like it's monotonous at times, it's routine based, and sometimes we lose the juice and the spark. And so I'm going to just give us a little intro in your own perspective of check again, why we need to go back to the basics.
A number of times we have talked about teachers being demotivated, teachers being in practice because of necessity has pushed them in that direction, not entirely because they have interest in it. Sometimes we have talked about the training not being sufficient. We have talked about different aspects, personal development, being coming from the person initiated by the teacher first, and then their organization or their institution. And I'm not sure that in any of this we have really talked about the motivation for the teacher and the spark on the job. One thing that we would agree is that the teaching can be quite tedious for a lot of teachers, especially if you have taught in the public school system. And at one of the times when I taught in a public school, I had 150 students in one class, and I had to teach 3 classes, and that was 450 students. That's the size of an entire school in some places. And nobody is asking you at that point, how are you coping? How are you doing? Sometimes you wake up and you don't even want to go to work. And so I think this morning, as we look at checking again, we'll be looking at why am I in education? Why am I a teacher? What is my why? And essentially looking at bringing back the spark at those times when the teacher feels demotivated, feels like these are not even my children. Why am I busting my head for these ones? No matter what I do, the school also does not recognize what I do. Parents come and harass me, students come and harass me, and it looks like the teacher is on the lowest rung of the ladder when it comes to placing importance on on those in the sector. So that for me is what we're looking at this morning.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that. And while you were speaking, Ugochi joined us. Ugochi, good morning. The Safety Check, how are you today?
Good morning, Mr. Rutini. I'm very well, thank you. Good morning to our amazing analysts, and good morning to all our viewers this morning.
Have you seen our special analyst in the building?
There's no picture there, so I can't see a picture or a name.
Let me help you out. I'll remove the topic and then you see it now. Can you see the name now?
Oh, Dr. Good day.
Hi, Safety Check.
All right. So I'm going to take the first question. Yes, I'm going to pitch the first question to Dr. Bimbo, knowing that you are the author of The Right Teacher, and we're talking about something that centers on teachers. I'd like to ask you this question. What do you think takes the spark out of practice for educators? What's that thing that takes that fire away?
Okay, so again, I always think of things in the multifactorial perspective. So, I mean, there's a lot. Number one is, what is the quality of, so let's start from top to bottom. So the first thing is, how do people regard education? How do people regard teaching profession, right? So how is that regarded in the general, amongst the general public? So, I mean, everybody's human. If for whatever reason, time and again, I go into a public space, into my community, and I say I'm a teacher, and everybody says, what are you doing there? What are you up to? What's going on? Over time, it's going to have that, that effect. Number two is remuneration. We're in Nigeria, right? So I'm going to talk a bit for Nigerian teachers. We're in Nigeria. It's tough. It's tough out there. You wake up in the morning and it is really tough. And then, remuneration, you work, shop. Somebody pays you 35,000. What does that want to do for the average Nigerian now? And these people have families, they have children, they have to live, right? So, if the struggle is too much, the spark is going to die off. It's going to die out. Now, we come into the school, and what are the working conditions like? Someone said earlier that when she was in the public sector, she had 150 teachers, 150 children in her classroom. How does that work? There's sometimes when you stand there, you look at them, and you just see the futility of the whole process. I mean, it takes a super human being to stand in front of 150 young ones and say, okay, I'm going to teach them something today. How does it want to work? right? So the working conditions are typically, deplorable in even in many private schools. Forget about this whole public school thing. I think for me, what I get upset most about is the state of many private schools, right? The working conditions. The teachers are meant to teach. Everywhere is hot. There's no light. There's no photocopier. There's no paper. There's no pencil. There's nothing, right? And you're meant to make this thing happen, right? So that is another thing. So, like I said, it just cascades down. So one day you wake up, you go out into the world, you see someone that you graduated with maybe 5, 10 years ago, and the person is out there doing things. And it doesn't have to be illegal. I mean, nice, comfortable, maybe you started in any other industry, bank. Now tech, even me now, I've started becoming a tech person because the tech people are making a lot of, so it is, how is the profession sustaining, maintaining, providing for the people within the profession, right? How attractive is the profession? So it comes from, when you talk about Maslow's hierarchy, so from the basic level of just being able to survive, is this profession able to, help people provide? And it goes even beyond reward, right? So it's not just, okay, so what do I get from it? The truth is, at times, when you get, I've gone to school, I've done my master's, how do I deploy these things when the conditions for me to deploy them are not up to par? How do I deploy? When the conditions are not ready for me to, and then of course there's a lot of, let's call it again, owner influence. So owner influence in how you dictate. So there's no autonomy. Teachers can't just teach because there are all sorts of things. So there's the owner influence, there's the government influence, there's the parent influence. Everybody seems to know how to teach more than you, the person that went to school to teach, right? Oh, they know how to advise you. They know what you're meant to be doing, what you're meant to be teaching part time, even almost more than you that are meant to go, I went to. So there are so many factors. And again, after a while, you just look down, you just look at everything and just, what is really going on here? So it takes someone that is truly and really committed. It's almost like you've been called. This is you, and you've seen that calling very clearly for you to sort of sit down and continue. I mean, I see it all the time. My teachers come in for so many reasons, and with the right teacher academy and so many things, I'm exposed to so many teachers. I just hear all sorts of things about, working conditions, all the things that I've said. I mean, we can talk about this, but let me let somebody else, add to the conversation.
Thank you so much. While you were speaking, we also have Dr. Titi Delcy walked into the bed.
Yeah, Rotimi, the real doctors are in the house, so that just rule that title. Good morning.
Benefit from the association now is spreading the dust full of doctorate spirit.
When the real doctors are in the house, those of us that are fake doctors, we have to hide our doctorate degrees. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Bimbo, Dr. Bimbo.
Good morning.
All protocols
Good morning. Good morning. It's nice to be part of this. By force, by fire, I'm here today.
Yes, so it's good. It's good to have you with your wealth of experience on both sides. Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
It's good to be here.
Okay, so let's ask Ugochi the second question that we have here. Is there a role, or is there a role schools play keeping their teams motivated? Ugochi?
Absolutely. There's a role that schools play because, the staff are working there, right? If they are not playing any role, then it's a problem. So yes, schools play a very big role in keeping their staff motivated. And I know that many times when we talk about motivation, everybody thinks money. They think money is the only thing. It's not only money. There are other ways that money is great and it should be a part of your motivation strategy. But then there are also other things, that bring joy and make the staff feel cared for. They feel that you have their interest at heart, and that's one of the things that can make them do their job in an amazing way. So recognition is great. Then opportunities to win opportunities for learning. So, for example, you win a course that's been beneficial to you. I've seen schools that made their staff win opportunities to go and train abroad. And abroad is not just outside the continent, even in other neighboring countries, you see. And those things just, put a spring in someone's head that someone is willing to pay this amount, for me to go and get better and improve. So it's really important. And then even vacation, maybe extra leave days, those sort of things. And then I also know in school, my mom even did that when she was alive, where if you are a staff in her school and you have a child, then your child either gets a scholarship or gets either a full or partial scholarship. And that is also very helpful to these teachers because they are probably working on very limited resources and they are giving in their best. How can you contribute to them to ensure that they do better? And then it could also be giving them opportunities for leadership, because when we talk about motivation, there's a spectrum, and it's important that you look at it from all parts so that it is well rounded and it caters to the needs of your staff. So it could even be opportunities for leadership. So you want them to see that it's an opportunity for them to grow, because they have done well, they have led well, they have been faithful in little, you're giving them more. And those kinds of things, many times we have this thing where people come to work and there are those who want to do their best, and then there are those who are just a beg, as long as you can pay me a salary, I'm fine. But you see, when you have this motivation strategy included in the way you run your business, what happens is those who came to do good work, they would do better and they would want to, excel and, just shine. And then those who came to do anyhow, just maybe they might get encouraged, to do well. And well, if they don't get encouraged, they're lost. But again, it's just important that these things are built into the system. I would emphasize building it into the system. Let it not just be an afterthought. Build it into the system so that people begin to work towards something. I think people are able to give their best when they can see a trajectory, they can see a pathway, as opposed to when things are haphazard. And I think I'll just stop right there.
Thank you very much. We have health platforms from Abuja. Finifolus experience reminds me. Finifolus experience reminds me of my teaching practice. Students had to sit on the floor and windows. Many of them couldn't even spell their names. You have to motivate yourself every day to work. Wow, that's quite profound. Thank you for that comment, health platform. I believe that's Stephanie, right? Yeah, okay. So the next question I would like to ask, Dr. Motola, being an associate professor lecturing as well. Where does an educator go to find their ginger?
Yeah, I think for this question, I think it's a combination of so many things. So first, they have to find it within themselves first and foremost, because like if you're a teacher, if you're a professor, if you're a lecturer, you're not doing it because of the reward. We've already established that. And so first, the ginger has to come from within, that, okay, I have the opportunity, that, because the truth is, well, no matter who people become, whether it's doctor, businessman, banker, whatever, all the other profession, they have to go through a teacher, right? And so they have to think in terms of long term, not just short term, that, you know what, because I am choosing to be an excellent teacher, because I'm choosing to be an effective teacher, I am going to change lives. I'm going to transform a life. I'm going to help children, whether they are privileged or not, have access to the kind of education that they need to make something out of their life. So I think the ginger should first come from the inside first and foremost, and then also through like association, through like being able to go to conferences, workshop, and also connect with other teachers, whether they're colleagues or people ahead of them, and draw inspiration from other places also in that regard. Because I remember, I grew up like as a teacher's kid. My mom was a teacher in the primary school sector working for the government. My dad started as a secondary school teacher, then the principal, then eventually a lecturer at the university. And so I knew that their motivation came from the inside first and foremost, because then there'll be strike, they will not be paid for like 6-7 months. So I know what it's like to live on the dime of a teacher and things like that. So definitely, assuming their motivation was just external and not internal, they would not have survived. They would not have made a career and a profession out of this sector. And so I think first and foremost, it should come from within. And then using that strength, they can now find other associations and community externally that will keep them encouraged despite all the challenges and the ups and downs within the sector.
Thank you so much. Let me ask Titi very quickly. For those who choose to teach and yet feel periodic burnout and demotivation of job, what do you think they can do?
Rotimi, I think rest is the first thing that comes to mind. So for me personally, I volunteer, in church, in the children's church, and I've done that for maybe 15 years. One of the things that works for me, because teaching is hard, it's really hard. And I'm not even talking about teaching for 6 hours, I'm talking about only for 2 hours. Man, when I go home, I'm exhausted. It's because it's hard, but what I find works is rest. When you take time out. So the way it works is that you take 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off. Honestly, those 2 weeks off are usually the best time of my life. I'm always so happy. But I enjoy the 2 weeks when I am on duty and teaching. But I find that the period of rest works, which is why I understand when schools take a policy of not doing something during the summer, making it optional for teachers, because that period of rest is really, really important. And it's important that, schools and school owners ensure that teachers and educators can have that period of rest. That mental rest, no lesson plans, no waking up early in the morning, it is something that really, really prevents burnout. When we had the online pandemic, we the parents were tired. I couldn't imagine what the teachers were going through, because as a parent I was exhausted, just on the online. So imagine on the other side. And then during the pandemic, you heard a lot of things that school owners, administrators, stepped in just to minimize the burnout, because burnout honestly is almost inevitable when you look at the circumstances. So it's important that we see those things, we plan for them. So I mean, there was one that there was one that the school owners, made sure that they took the first period or the first 2 periods and made it something general and a bit of game, just to give some teachers, a bit of rest. There are other initiatives where that they did like a raffle draw, and then the school owners allowed teachers to win rest. I'm telling you, that's part of the gift. My sister who teaches in Dubai says that when they were doing the raffle ticket, that's the one she wanted to win. She wanted to win that one that allowed you to come to school like 2 hours later than you normally do. You'll be amazed that was the prize she wanted to win. She said when she won, she was so happy. So on a particular day, you could come in like 2 hours or later than you normally do. So instead of you being in school at 7, you could come in for 9. They would then get a substitute to take care of your classes during that period. So the thing I say is rest. You'll be amazed how that time out, that rest, if you see that a teacher has a lot going on for them, you as a school owner, as an administrator, can really give them that thing of rest, that thing of take that time out to just go. No one is disturbing you, and they just recuperate. It really helps with burnout. Take that time, even as school owners as well, constantly, especially this post-pandemic period, a lot affecting revenue and all that. They also need that rest, that thing of rest, that thing where you shut down and just rest and don't worry about anything for a period, 1 or 2 times. Even as parents, sometimes if home is stressful and you have lots of young children, just taking that time out one day, a few hours to just shut down, think about nothing, don't worry about cooking, don't worry about anything, really is very therapeutic. I think that's, my recommendation.
Thank you so much. Let me quickly ask Dr. Bimbo. Now, knowing, of course, yes, you have a book, you're a school owner, you're in the school business, you're an educator, you're a consultant, you wear many hats, and you're helping people to succeed at leading a learning community. And the list is endless. How do we address the why of teaching? That's, a lot of people have had the perception of, and we know that there's a huge teacher shortage or teacher supply challenge in Nigeria. We don't have enough teachers. That's the truth about it. But how do we address that why? People see education or teaching as a calling. People see it as something that you must have passion for. In your own words, in your own experience, how do we address this why challenge? Yeah.
So I think for me, it's going back again to education, right? And the reason and the purpose of education. And making, as a community, as a country, making everyone wake up to the fact that education actually changes lives, right? And then creating the the fabric of the society to enable people actually understand the fact that it does, So let me tell you what I'm trying to say. So I send my child to school, for example, and I am in poverty. Let's just talk about poverty. So I've had to do all sorts of things to ensure that my child gets to school. My child gets to school, does the whole drama, comes out and doesn't get a job, right? Doesn't get a job that can take me and the family out of poverty. There and then I realized that education doesn't change lives. Education doesn't do much, right? And that is the reality of many people in Nigeria, that I have, somebody has, from the village or someone, hey, if you go to school, your life will be better. Go to school, blah, blah, blah. So we all then decided to go to school, and then we come out of school and then we are still in poverty. So that's why I said that the issues that we have in the education sector in Nigeria cannot be removed from the issues that we have in Nigeria as a whole, right? So that's the first thing. So now let's go back. Now, if you are asking me what is the why of a teacher, the why of a teacher is, in other clients is probably very clear, which is I am the one that is going to help these people, these generations succeed, right? I'm going to get them ready for life, a life of success, a life of that. So that is the why. But if I myself, as the teacher, know for some reason or the other that that might not end up being, I don't know if maybe I'm going a bit too deep. That might not really be the reality of this child at the end of the day. So that why is, let me give you a different scenario. So, I'm a medical doctor as well, right? So someone comes to me, a pregnant woman comes to me as an obs and gynae and says, oh, I need to get this child out of me. My purpose is clear, right? My purpose is clear. It is to get that baby. So cesarean section, however way I get that baby out of that parent, that mother successfully. Everybody is happy. Doctors always get gifts. Everybody is happy. Doctor, people can see you kneel down. Doctor, you've changed my life. My baby is here. Can we say that as teachers? Can the end of the whole process, is it as clear to us? Is it so clear to us? And that's why the why. You see, if you say people should come into education, into teaching, why? Why should I come and teach? First of all, that the lives of the children, again, I try to bring things to our Nigerian context. So the lives of those children, what's the probability that it's going to be changed? Very slim. That's number one. The second thing is that even me, myself, what is the probability that my life is going to be changed because I'm a teacher. And you see, I tell people that the reason when I'm doing kids coach, when I'm doing so many things that I do, is because I want to see that change. I want to see that difference. I want to see that impact. I want to see people's life improve for the better, right? So anyone that's gone to the kids coach school, it's a mantra, excellence, because the children need to be better. I tell people that I'm not here because I'm here because of that child. We are all here because of that child. So we were putting all our best to ensure that happens. But you see that is almost not the norm again. It's not, I don't know, it's not the norm. So if you say, okay, why teaching? Because yes, we can say the old nice one that we say when we're in public spaces. Oh, so that the lives of the children will be changed, the future will change, the future of the world is in our hand. Do we really, really believe it? So that's what it is. That's what it should be, right? That's the why, yes. But again, in the context, in our context, how often is that the case that the lives of the children are really? So that's why at times people get demotivated. That's why people lose their spark, right? So it's just something to think about. It's just something to think about, right? So what's the impact of education really? Yeah.
Yeah. So Rotimi, can I add something to what Bimbo has said?
Yes,
I think there's also the thing of another story. When we see teachers being portrayed today, it's like the down and out. Nobody's showing that part of impacting lives. So people just look at teacher as the down and out. But if you start to build a different story of a continuous different story of how one person can impact and change the lives of people, you will find that more and more people will consider education as an option. A lot of the new the millennials, they are very much into social impact. They are very much into social impact. But you know what? When they look at the thing of what people push for social impact, education is never there. A lot of it is forming NGO. A lot of it is, giving out free food and all that. So we need to start telling a different story. We need to start portraying teachers differently. They're not the ones that are looking down and out. I mean, they need to portray teachers like Bimbo. They need to portray teachers like Rhoda, teachers like Fee, that make you look at teaching and consider it. When we were young, I'm telling you, I tell people that when I was young, I wanted to be a teacher, because for me, the epitome of brilliance was my teacher. So I thought of being a teacher till I realized that there was no money in it and ran away. Do you understand? But what I'm saying is that when we were young, most of us wanted to be like our teachers. There was something about it. There was a place of pride they were in. And we knew that it had nothing to do with money. It was a place of pride, a place of people that were brilliant went into teaching.
I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I quickly say something? So you see, I don't know, maybe I'm just people like Rhoda, people like myself, we are the outliers. We are different. But you see, my point is, I don't want a situation, I don't want a Nigeria or an Africa where, you just, okay, there are a couple of people. I love the fact that we should tell our stories, right? But I also want a situation where we go beyond telling the story of this one person and fixing the gaps, closing those gaps. Because there are let's assume there are 5 million teachers. They now say, 100 of them, okay. I don't know if you're trying to say, I think for us it is to sit down and say, okay, let's unpack the issues and then begin to fix them so that there is no Rhoda. There's just all teachers are great, not, Rhoda, all the teachers are great. Yes, is storytelling important? Absolutely. I mean, it is one part of it, right? But I also think that beyond storytelling, how do we make sure that we are not just telling the story of one, we are telling everybody's story is like this. This is everybody's story. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Because I tell you that people still look at me and they say, how can you be even till now? People still say, how can you not be a teacher? Till now. And I'm saying, are you kidding me? How can you be asking me that kind of a question? because the public mindset.
Yeah. So
Go
so
on, go
if
on,
I
go on.
have to merge the two together, I think one of the things that we should look at is, and Titi is trying to stress, is the end justifies the means. So of course there has to be a positive example, just like she mentioned, of people that people can look up to, and we need more of such numbers so that it cannot become a collective reality. So let me ask this question to I'll ask Finn very quickly. How do you see this question 5? Is there a need for breaking away from the norm sometimes to give teachers a fun day? I'm already seeing a smile on your face. I don't understand. Don't you?
Yes, and yes, all over again. There is the need. When schools plan fun activities, it's planned around the children. It's planned around, let's give the children a beautiful learning experience. But then the people that are working to give them a beautiful learning experience are burnt out. They are demotivated. They are overworked and all of that. So yes, really, there should be maybe one day, apart from the Teachers' Day, one day where the school just says maybe after closing, there won't be any after school activities. There won't be just after closing. Parents pick up your children, and maybe like an hour after closing, we're going to have the teachers' rendezvous where you just let your head down. We have like those kind of activities we plan for children where you're able to relax, you're able to breathe, you're able to just have a relaxed atmosphere. Yes, I would vote for this over and over and over and over again. Yes.
All right. Enjoy your fun day. Well, I ask Ugochi, so how do we drive protection? I think that protection of teachers and educators at large by their superiors or by regulators and administrators should also be looked into if we're going to check again to see the quality of drive and performance. What would be your recommendations, safety check?
Okay, so according to ILO, anybody that goes into any workspace should leave that place as healthy as they got in there, if not better. And so I always give this example when I have safety trainings that if, for example, you were told you were going to be paid 5 million a month, you have gotten this new job, and then you get to the reception on your first day, and while you before you even got to the reception at the gate, the person that opened the gate for you was using crutches. You didn't really pay much mind. Then you got to the reception, the lady speaking to you, very beautiful, looking very beautiful. Then one of her hands is in a sling. While you're still sitting, other staff are coming in, one with bandage around the head. At some point, you begin to ask yourself, am I in a hospital or am I in a school? And you don't even like this 5 million suddenly isn't sounding so good anymore because everybody around you has one bandage on one part of their body or the other. And then you realize that it's the person that is alive that can have fun, right? And in good health. So it's really so important that it's really so important that protection is built into any workplace. You should come in, exit and entry into any workplace should be as safe as possible. Yes, we're trying to create a safe environment for children, but it's not just for children. It's for everybody. In safety, it's for everybody that we access that space, even visitors. So if we're catering for visitors, then how much more those who are working in that space? So it's really important that protection is built in for the teachers, all staff, in fact, not just teachers, so including the cleaners and everyone.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to chip in a funny comment. It could be costume day, like it could be a teacher rendezvous, bandage team, like he was. Okay. So I think at this point I will draw curtains on today's show. So let's have our parting shots. We'll start with Titi. We'll go to Dr. Motola. We'll come back to Dr. Bimbofi, and then we'll end with Ugochi. All right. So Titi, over to you. Parting shots, please.
Okay. I think my parting shot is that we need more quality teachers in the sector. We need to attract the right people to the sector, and telling more stories. Is a good way, is a place to start in terms of attracting the right people that will come to the sector, that are coming in with passion and ready to make an impact. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So
Dr.
for me,
Motola.
yeah, for me, I'll say that we need to rethink how education is structured for teachers and the shift. I still believe in this shift. Like, they don't have to be in school Monday to Friday. I think we've gone past this kind of like, every day all teachers must show up Monday to Friday. There has to be a way in which, whether it's maybe there's just 3 times a week that they're going to be there, give their best, and truly be there, and use the other 2 days to like rest or regroup and work in shift. I think that can really help change things and help them to be more motivated and feel more inspiration and all of those kind of things. So I would say we need to start rethinking the structure of how teachers shows up in school and how long they get to like be in teaching and things like that. So that will be my parting shot.
All right, thank you, Fee.
For me, teaching can be fun. Teaching is fun. We should keep teaching fun for all educators and especially teachers. Thank you.
Thank you. And of course, we have Dr. Bimbo. Is Dr. Bimbo there?
Yeah.
Okay, Gochi.
Oh, okay. Hang on. I was speaking. Sorry, I was speaking, and then I realized that my mic was off. I don't know what's going on today. Okay. So my parting shot is for us to really understand the role and the place of teachers as a nation, and we should stop, playing or using mouth service with regards to the education is important. Education, the quality of education is as good as the teachers who are going to teach the children. You cannot have qualitative education without quality teachers, and if you're going to have quality teachers, all the way from the way they are trained to the way they are supported. Let's use the word. So it's not more of reward, but it's support, right? So the way they are supported to continue to deliver their best must be, factors that we should consider and not, play or give mouth service or lip service. We should actually sit down, unpack that, and make things work for the teachers. That's what it is for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Ugochi, finalist?
Okay, so I'll just say that we've got to be intentional about building motivation and protection of teachers into our school system, because our teachers are very, very important.
All right, thank you so much. And on this note, we come to the end of the show. But this is something we're going to do. We're going to allow Dr. Bimbo get inducted to the way we say goodbye on the show. So we're going to ask her to say it first, and then she will join us as we say it collectively. So there's a saying we have as we end our show. We say it's always a great morning on the Good Morning Education Show. So Dr. Bimbo.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay, so it's always a good morning. Okay, so it's always a good morning on the Good Morning Education Show. Is that it?
It's always a great morning on the Good Morning
and then everyone
Education
cross
Show.
it together.
Great morning. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So it's always a great morning on the Good Morning Education Show. Is that it?
All right. It looks like the network is playing with it.
Okay, so did I miss that?
Yes, you did.
Yes, she already delivered it really beautifully.
So has everybody said goodbyes?
No,
we haven't.
Okay, so let's do it together. 1, 2, go. It's always
a great morning on the Good Morning Education Show.
Good Morning Education Show.
All right, bye everyone, bye.